It was
Recording in
like
progress.
a 5 or 6 unit chain in Delaware primarily, some in Pennsylvania too, that had, pizza and beer, but it also had roast beef and it had that piano player.
We're on.
No. Hello. Greetings. We're reminiscing. Okay. We are the Lewes Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. It is Tuesday, October 28th, and it is 5:30. So present, we have Aaron Huertas, Jack Flaherty, and Ray Quillen. It's only Tuesday, and I'm still not with him. We have Deputy Mayor Saliba and Julia Kirsch, our city liaison, with us. We have one of our members, Tom Jensen, who is just signing on now. So welcome, Tom. And looks like we have two folks. We have Bill Weller. Hi, Bill. Thanks for joining us again. And we have Trina Brown Hicks, one of our council folks. So thank you for joining us this evening as well. All right. I think we're going to jump in. Let me know if anybody can't hear us or has a bad connection. I don't know whether we'll see Glenn. I didn't hear from him, but he may just be a little bit late. So first order of business is we have 2 sets of minutes to approve. I don't know if folks had an opportunity to review them that were distributed with the agenda. If they are, I'll first ask for any edits anybody had to the 5:27 minutes. Okay. Anybody have edits to the 6:24? Okay. If we don't have any recommended edits to those 2, I'll take a motion from someone to approve both sets of minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are good to go. Thank you, everybody. All right, we may adjust our agenda a little bit depending on if we have some folks who join us tonight. So Bennett Curry, our youth advisor, is not with us as yet this evening. If he pops in, we'll go ahead and put him in on the agenda. We do not have a representative from Lewes Police tonight, so again, we'll be flexible there. Speeding along on our agenda, an update on the Delaware Bicycle Council grant. Folks may remember we submitted a grant in August. Julia, I don't know if you want to give an update. You want me to? It's up to you.
Go right ahead. You're fine.
Sure.
Yep.
So earlier this month, I think it was the 21st or 22nd. Last week, seems a long time ago. Representatives from the Delaware Bike Council came to town. Aaron joined myself and Julia and three representatives from the Bike Council. They really just asked a few questions, walked out to take a look at Savannah at the intersection here at 3rd, really just to observe, like any time at that intersection there was entertaining things going on. So we were left with 2 go-dos, I would say. 2 of the members seemed comfortable with the submission, had reviewed the documents, and seemed pretty comfortable with what we had submitted. One of the members asked us to follow up on whether we had a champion within mayor and city council, and our ex officio agreed to be that champion, so that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Of course.
The other go-do was to see whether there was any flexibility in the quote that GMB gave us for the study. And I don't know whether you've had any success on that.
I have not reached out. I will do that.
Okay. The original request, the original estimate for the study from GMB was $41,000. The committee mentioned that they have a total budget of $50,000, and that they were hoping to use that for multiple projects. So didn't say that if we came back and said, no, it's hard and fast at 41, that we were eliminated, but we were asked to follow up on those two things. Anything I left out? Aaron? Julie?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. There wasn't really a lot of feedback that we got, just sort
Just
of.
questions and walking through. I didn't get a feel for any direction that they were leaning.
As kind of a brief review, could you restate or summarize what we're asking for in this application?
Aaron, do you mind doing that one? Are you okay with that, or?
Well, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's GMB doing a study of what it would take to implement the long-term A from our bike plan for Savannah Road.
And that is, I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, so that has the pedestrian relief zones in the middle of the street, and then there's some rejiggering of the intersections so that there's wider curbs. You don't have as many left turn opportunities. You're taking away some of the left turn spaces and encouraging more right turns for folks to get around, and then that's opening up pedestrian relief zones where we could have some flowers. That was one bit of feedback we got was, hey, is this pedestrian focused? And our committee is also pedestrian focused, but they were more on the bike angle. And the advantage that we talked about there was just the traffic calming that has. And I think something James Wilson had said, which stuck with me, was that the 25-mile-an-hour zone, part of where other municipalities are going is, 25 miles an hour is kind of a little too fast for cars and cyclists, and sometimes feels like a little too slow for cars. So if you can get folks to slow down a little bit in those 25-mile-an-hour zones, that could be helpful for everybody. And of course with Savannah, it's, there's a lot of times where you feel lucky if you're going 20 or 25.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two of the folks that were here, and I can't get their names right off the top of my head, they spend a reasonable amount of time in Lewes. One woman lives in Milton and is here a lot on her bike. You probably know who they are, Ray. And she talked a lot about the amount of bicycle traffic on Savannah and crossing. We talked a lot about that you might have, kind of low-stress streets on, downtown side, but or on this side as well, but you've got to get from one to the other, and how do cyclists safely cross this intersection of Savannah as well. So we'll see where it ends up. It goes all the way up to Gill's Neck, so see what that looks like there.
Good, thank you.
So, they award the grants December 5th or 6th. So we owe them a response back probably in a week or so. And then they said that they make the award in early December. And if you are a recipient of the award, you need to spend that within 2026.
And since it's just for the feasibility study.
Correct.
There will not be a problem spending. It's not like we're actually putting everything into implementation.
Right, it's just for the feasibility study, that's all it is, right. But one of the reasons that they asked about a champion is because if they do the feasibility study, they are hoping that it is something that the city does have an interest in pursuing. That's why they asked about community engagement, et cetera, which it was helpful that it was in the bike plan, because that went through the various public meetings and other engagement and public comment that was collected in the bike plan. So that gives a sense that folks looking at it already were supportive of that project. So,
Just as an aside, maybe I'm showing my age here, but it's, when you talk about $41,000 for a study, I remember the days when we could get the project done for $41,000. Now we're just talking about that for the study, but it is what it is.
it's like going to the grocery store.
Yeah. No more 25-cent slices of grottos.
Exactly.
Going back to Pappy's. We went
Or Pappy's for that matter, yeah. I'm not sure this is on, but. Okay.
All right. Anybody else on that one? Okay. Bicycle Friendly Community Award. Jack, have you had any opportunity to jump into that?
No, I didn't. I actually I apologize. I haven't done.
That went there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just so everyone's aware, I cannot find our old application. It is not within our digital
that's right.
files. From what I understand, whoever was the gentleman, forgive me, I don't remember his name, whoever,
Don Long.
if Don was the one who submitted it, it's believed that he submitted it.
Oh, okay.
Well, he had indicated when I reached out to him and asked him if he, for the date or when he submitted it, he said that if we need any other information, I mean, if Jack or you want to reach out to him, or I could reach out to him and ask him if he has a copy of it, so we have something to go with.
At least just a guide
Yeah.
as to what we had in place.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, then I'd be more than willing to just have a conversation with him and see
Sure.
if he can. So
Well,
if you'll
and I-
reach out to him, then
I think we should look at it as well, though, because if I remember correctly, and I don't have my notes, so the application has, if I'm correct, Lewes first applied for it in 2012. That was not Don's. That was Mike Tyler, I believe.
Right.
So I think that, and from what I've read on the League of American Cyclists website, the application has kind of progressed over the years and changed. So I don't know that having what was submitted the last time is
helpful.
Okay.
going to be super helpful
Okay.
to us or should hold us up from looking at it, because I think they're asking just more and more information and probably more electronic information than they might have asked in years past. So I think where we are right now is if we just can take a dive into the application, see what's there, and the only piece that would probably be not necessarily a priority for us right this moment, but an idea of whether we're going to drive towards getting this thing done by June. And that's our deadline.
Yeah.
So,
Don had indicated in his email that we have an extra year.
well, if you, again,
wanted
he's just
to-
quoting the League of American Cyclists website.
Okay.
You get a leap, whatever they call it, the grace years. But I think we need to move towards getting this thing.
Okay, I
In
will
as
I will
soon as
get on
we
that.
can.
If you want to coordinate with me, we can,
Okay.
I mean, it's going to take us until June.
oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Contains, it's got a lot of information. So we expired in 2024. So we are in the grace period now. So we really should apply in '26. So we were originally in 2012. We expired in 2024, so we're already listed as of January 25 of being in the grace period. So we need to submit in '26. Yeah.
What's the duration of the grace period, Mary Jean? Can we tell or no?
I believe it's 2 years.
2 years. Gotcha.
So yeah. But Tom, I don't have a lot of information. It looked like in 2025, the applications were due in January of 2025. In '26, applications are due in June. If we wait until '27, no idea when that's going to be. So. Okay. Jack, do you still have time to look into that? Are you
Yeah,
okay with
yeah,
that?
I will, yeah.
Okay. Okay, just let us know if we need to support you in any way.
Yeah, I don't know why I guess I was waiting to hear from Don, but I didn't do anything on it.
Back to you. Crosswalks and lighting?
Okay, so I did talk to Tim, and on his working group for the dark skies, and he was very supportive of this. And they were going to have a working group meeting, I think, a day or two after I talked to him. So he said he would bring all this up to them there, and he was very supportive of it. And he also brought up the intersection at 2nd Street and Savannah. He was very concerned with that as far as pedestrian crossing. And, he said he would like to see that improved just as a crossing area, including the lighting. And we did talk about just crossings in general, as improvement to that. But I did mention, that just upgrading the lighting with the existing poles would be a cheaper, more immediate way to do it. And he was very supportive of that. So he said he would probably get me to come in and speak with the working group sometime in the future. So he probably brought that up. I haven't heard back from him yet. I'll get to him next week and see if that's going to happen or not. What I did think, though, is that I might talk to the businesses on the intersection there, Roz and Heirloom and those, and see if they would be supportive of, better lighting, and see what they say. So I'll probably be doing that in the coming weeks or so.
Interesting, okay. Is there anything you need from us?
I don't think right now. I'll wait to hear from Tim, talk to businesses, and then, maybe we want to look at making a recommendation to City Council
Okay.
at the next meeting and the meeting after that.
Is the working group the Planning Commission?
Dark
Is
sky
that-
lighting, I believe
It's
it's
the
the
dark
dark sky
sky.
It's
lighting.
the Dark Skies Subcommittee, I don't know what they call themselves, but they're an ad hoc group.
Oh, okay.
That are looking at dark skies and how to direct lighting better, typically more closer down instead of out. We had a presentation yesterday at our joint meeting with the BPW from Sue Ellen Greenwood. One of the, I think all in all, they're going to end up with a pilot program. That's the goal right now. The only thing I think that if there's an obstacle, it is working with the police department to ensure that the lighting, their concern is that lighting is typically and traditionally a deterrent to crime, and they want to make sure that there's enough lighting that it's not going to be so reduced in a way or directed the wrong way that it actually, removes that deterrent. But I think that can be overcome, and there's plenty of room to figure that piece out. But there will be, I think, based on our presentation yesterday, a pilot program to start and to see how it works and identify the areas of town where there is light pollution that needs to be rectified. So it was a productive, update yesterday, and
Oh, good.
but it does seem to be moving gradually, but but consistently.
Well, maybe we got in at the right time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's great.
No, I think that's certainly, we talked about these areas here. And by the way, Jack, I would encourage you to talk to Bramble and Brime, too. Yeah, right there, next to those three there. Because it's it's a long-time problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Okay. Well, thanks for making the connection to the ad hoc committee for us. We appreciate that.
yep.
I know we could look at all sorts of lighting. I think the lighting down by the Liberty gas station's bad, too, but
I can tell you what Sue Ellen said. She's not pleased with the lighting at the Lewes Library.
Oh.
They consider that to be like,
Offensive, I think is the word. Did she use that word?
yeah, yeah.
I believe she used the word offensive.
Too
In the
bright?
parking
Too
lot?
Bright, too
Parking
bright,
lot?
too much glare, directed the wrong way, and, but yeah, look, it's an interesting topic, and,
Yeah.
but my guess is there's a way to kind of accommodate crime deterrence with reduction of light pollution. The glare and others that seem to bother people, and they seem to have, I was telling Julia earlier, I'm not sure, I would like to see the studies that reveal that it has a real harmful impact on the ecosystem and other things which are out there too, but interesting topic, new topic for most people, certainly for me, but my guess is there's a path.
It's outside of Lewes, but I was talking to someone who lives in Tower Hill, the community out on New
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Road.
sure.
And they're having a conversation within their HOA about dark sky lighting. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did ask Tim if they were going for any kind of certificate or, if there was a national organization that they want, and he said, no, they're not, they're just,
Yeah, like I said, they're at a pilot stage right now. That's the first step. Yeah, so.
Tom, are you good? Anything? Okay. All right, Jack, you good on that one?
Yep.
Okay. Next one is new business. This is not something that we're taking action on tonight. I just want to bring everybody up to date. It's another ad hoc committee that was formed that is code review and recommendations. And this is being chaired by Dennis Reardon, who is a former city council member. And this committee received a letter asking us to give our committee subject matter expertise and familiarity with specific sections of the code. The committee has been tasked with reviewing the existing city code with the goal of identifying revisions, additions, or deletions that will reduce confusion, eliminate redundancies, and create a more cohesive, fair, and practical code. So I reached out. This is just our first kind of announcement, I guess you would say. And at a future meeting, each of us should bring whatever thoughts you have. We'll look at what code, we'll be able to get you the areas of code that reference bicycle or pedestrians and kind of narrow down your view, and we'll do that at a future meeting. I did reach out to Dennis to ask him if there was a timeline for it, because they are meeting now. And his response was that there really wasn't a timeline. We didn't need to do a special meeting or something like that for us to share our recommendations, that just do it in the normal course of our business. His words were he thought this committee was going to be around for a bit, and it was going to take a while. So I think what we'll do here is this is just sort of an information to let folks know that this is something that we've been asked to do. We'll shoot out to you the city code sections that relate to bicycle and peds, and then bring those to a future meeting. And we'll see if we can't narrow down any suggestions that we have.
Great.
Okay? Super. Look at us, moving along. The next one might take a minute. So, although the city's fiscal year is April 1st to March
31st.
31st. 31st?
Correct.
Okay. I never remember how
30
many days
days,
I have to do
September,
that.
April,
30
June, and
days.
November. All the rest have 31.
So the city
I do
is
it all the time, too.
4/1 to 3/31. But the process has begun for them to start working on what I guess is the 26-27 budget.
FY27.
FY27
Correct.
budget. So in order to do that, we need to kind of set some priorities of some things we talked about so that Julia and I can begin to kind of put some numbers around those things, just some estimates to see where it is. And Julia was helpful last week in helping me understand that some of these numbers that we put together, we'll go ahead and put together and submit in our kind of draft budget, with the understanding that if we are proposing a change, and I'll give you an example in a sec, but if we are proposing a change, even though we may request that money in our draft budget, we still have to go through the process of that being a recommendation of the committee, it going to mayor and city council, they may do public meetings, whatever. But the idea is that by the time that, what could be a rather lengthy process goes through, if the money was approved, we would be able to move forward with that project. That's my understanding of how you explained it.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Again, depending on where things fall in a budget. So some of the things we've talked about are items that were in the presentation we made recently to mayor and city council in September, and that was our recommendation of removing bollards at certain sections on the Georgetown to Lewes Trail to bring consistency to it. That was signing changes to improve consistency. Those are the signs at the library, the stop signs, some of the other signs, more stop signs and others along the trail. The other was trail user signs, kind of rules of the road, if you want to think about it, that we would put up along the trail. What might that cost? We made that recommendation. We will look at maps again and think about the physical maps and what that might look like. I don't know, Aaron, you're probably our resident expert on when we think about physical maps and anything related to, the QR codes or the holders, or do you want to place them somewhere else? Probably some other things that would go into a budget. We haven't talked about bicycle racks recently and whether there are any changes we want to make, whether they're additions, whether we need to, not just electric bikes, regular old bikes keep a changing and their tires don't fit in things, and what does that look like? And so we have some bike racks and things like that we talked about. We haven't really talked about whether there's anything pedestrian related or improvement we want to make, something like that. So the good news is we have several items, let alone anything else anybody wants to add to the list. The bad news is we don't have a lot of time to come up with those numbers. So I think the pressure I'm going to put on you all this evening is to ask you a question of, let's just stick with Georgetown to Lewes Trail, because we've kind of talked about those changes endlessly. Tom, I'm going to put you on the spot because I know you're catching up. So if you have removal of the bollards, signage changes, yield, stop signs, things like that, taking out signs to be consistent, or trail user signs, right? So let's go with removal of bollards, wayfinding, probably a better term maybe,
Sure.
and trail user signs. Prioritize those for me, Aaron. 1, 2, and 3.
I'd say bollards, wayfinding, and trail.
Okay? Ray?
I agree.
Oh. This could be easier than I thought. Jack? No! Look at you!
Sounds good.
Pressure's on, Tom.
Well, I'm fine. I guess the question I'd ask is, help me a little bit on the wayfinders versus trail kind of dynamics. I may have ranked those two differently, but bollards first.
I think the wayfinding we're talking about, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at the workshop presentation we made, but we also have that PowerPoint that, if you want, might be helpful too. The wayfinding is more of some directionals, are talking about making sure that the cross streets have either consistent messaging. We've got some stop signs that have cute little things on them that people don't think are real stop signs. We've got the area at Monroe that we agreed needs something. We're not sure what it is. Some suggestions, maybe a silent policeman or something else there. So that's the wayfinding piece versus the trail user signs are those sort of along the way that would tell you whether you put, stay to the right, let somebody know when you're passing, if you want to put a speed limit on it, that kind of stuff.
Yep. Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, I mean, the wayfinding ones are really helpful in a lot of contexts.
Okay.
Particularly when it's busy out there.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll put some numbers around those, see what that looks like.
If at all possible, and you can get me some quotes on costs, that would be very helpful, because that is also part of the process, is when I present, sometimes mayor and council and the finance committee and my managers want to see not just we think it's going to cost this.
No, we'll give you real numbers.
And I have no doubt, I just wanted to make sure I clarified that. Thank you.
Of course. Physical physical maps, are we doing physical maps again?
We probably should. I don't think we distributed as many this year, just because we didn't have as much volunteer time devoted to keeping the kiosks full. The online map's still getting a lot of use, so I'm not sure. We should run some numbers on it, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a significant amount in my office.
Yes.
So when we talk about didn't distribute as many because we weren't always getting them filled, did we have empty containers that maybe we need to look at getting some volunteers next year to fill them? Is that,
Yeah, I think so.
I got a few emails on the bike pedestrian comment form. Mary Vessels seemed to run out very quickly.
Yeah.
But I also think Mary Vessels, some of them got wet, like the container, it wasn't a good container.
Oh, okay.
So we had to work on that. But Mary Vessels seemed to be the one that I got the most requests for more,
Yep.
at least 3 times. Maybe down at Canal Front Park, but it really wasn't that many there, and the trailhead I put. So, but mostly
Maybe the
it was
little
Mary
plastic-
Vessels. And I have more of the
Especially the
plastic
trail-
holders. I have 2 of them in the office.
right,
'cause
but
we had
maybe
ordered
the
more.
little plastic holders aren't the best for, like, the trailhead if it's a real frequent stop. Maybe we need to look at something
Well, the
that's a little bit
trailhead
bigger.
by the restrooms has it's enclosed essentially. I mean, it's not fully enclosed, but it had, maybe we could put something larger
Yeah.
and not have to worry about it getting wet by
Yeah.
rain.
Yeah, that double-sized one at the trailhead would probably be great for MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Mary Vessels goes through so many, but that's a very popular area.
Yep.
I mean, we saw that with bikes.
And Mary Vessels is something we actually have to come up with a plan before next season. We put the sign up, which I think helped, kept people from parking on the grass. But it's still not a great parking spot.
But it's also yes and, because I saw the sign and I thought, oh, that's nice, we have a sign there, and then I'm like, oh, I'm reading a sign instead of looking at flowers now.
At least there's not 17 big electric bikes parked there.
I'm not looking at a giant cargo bike.
That's right. Got to pick your poison. Pick
Yeah.
your poison.
No, it's no, that space is so tough. I keep thinking of the potential space we have maybe behind the bank where we might be able to get some racks at some point. I was also thinking about some of the smaller racks we have. I want to get the name of the street right. I don't even want to call them racks. I don't think a lot of people even notice them as racks. They're the straight posts that have a loop on the top. But if it's possible at all to replace those with U-shaped racks, I think they could accommodate more bikes and stand out more as an obvious place to park your bike.
Do you have those on the map?
I think sure. Let me see. Maybe I chose not to because they're so tiny, but I should put them on there.
Does our budget change from year to year? I understand it's $15,000, is that correct? And does that vary from year to year, or is that pretty consistent?
It does vary. I believe this committee has stayed fairly level. I think last year, because we did not know which direction we were going in, it was only increased by the 5%. So we have been tasked, all the managers have been tasked with putting together a budget for this upcoming fiscal year and projecting 5 years out. So I'm not only budgeting for fiscal year '27, I'm also budgeting for fiscal year '31.
Okay.
So all the way through. And some departments physically within the city, know what we need to replace and where we're headed. But this is a different situation because of all the moving parts and the expense to those parts.
Well, and I think the idea behind prioritizing and for us to put some numbers around it is, I mean, removal of the bollards is going to be significant. So, but if we take a look at it and realize, what things do we want to do, but maybe we know then that we're going to need a grant or funding from something else to accomplish that versus maybe we can use the money that we have to work on 2 and 3 or something like that. I think we need to have some sense of the money that's out there, of how much what we're recommending will cost.
And what I also can do is, when I project out, so say that bollards is this year, just examples. Bollards is this year, wayfinding, we're gonna do next year. But if we can get a grant to be able to have it done within this year, that's fine. But at least then we're projecting.
Right.
And if we have a surplus, it doesn't end up costing us what we thought it was going to be, we can pivot.
And we're still talking about FY '27 for that money. So that's after April 1st of next year. Because right now, we have some deadlines from Julie and the city as far as budget numbers, but we still have not officially said to mayor and council, we want to remove the bollards. So although we're talking about budgeting what that might cost, we've still got to go through this process. And I was digging through some things, and I found that that request went through the process in '20 and was not successful.
So there was an effort in 2020 to recommend removal of the bollards, and
Yes.
mayor and council rejected that?
From what I can find, I haven't gone all into the archives. I found a couple of documents that suggested that, yes.
Interesting.
But I haven't dug in to see whether it was just at one particular location or whether it was the whole process. Just found it.
Right.
Yeah.
Could I make a request or suggestion, bollard-related? This past week, Board of Public Works had one of their bucket trucks on the trail in town, and they were doing some tree work, whatever else. In order to get their truck on there, they took out one of the bollards. Unfortunately, and they had the red or orange cones in front of the truck and behind the truck, but they didn't have anything marking where the bollard was taken out, and you have a sizable hole there. And I stopped and requested as nicely as I could of one of the workers, and he didn't act like he was too pleased, but he did place one of the cones over the missing hole, whatever else. But I noticed this, I wouldn't have brought it up, but when they were doing the water city pipes along the trail, whatever else, they constantly did that. And 2 or 3 days, I asked them to, put the bollard back in, whatever else. And in conjunction with that, once they put the bollard back in, if they could tap it down so it goes down to the level it was before, because you have the different bollards at different heights. And I know a lot of people like myself, you gauge whether you can ride over that with your handlebars. And if it's up higher than that, you're going to hit the thing. Having said all that, I'm willing to draft a letter for your review. That you
Got it?
I got it.
Okay.
I'll send an email to our maintenance department, just because sometimes they do remove the bollards as well. And I'll send an email to Robin with the BPW
That would
and
be
ask him to
wonderful.
speak to his staff. I will also put in there, make sure it gets tapped down, so,
That'd be
Okay.
great.
yeah.
Thank you very
That's an
much.
easy fix, thank you. And if you see it happen again, call me,
Okay.
okay?
Will do.
If you see a little picture of Ray's face on the bollard when you go by, don't be alarmed.
Oh, that's fine.
All right. Anything else budget-wise? Anything we haven't talked about that you're like, oh, wait a minute, we should think about this?
Is some of the signage inclusive of thinking about the low stress bike route through around 4th Street? Is that something we want to think about, consider?
We can, if we can take a look and see what those costs are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have it on the online map, so we do encourage it, but it's not visible to the rider if they're on the streets and trying to find a connection from the west part of town.
Yeah, and those are they exist, so that's an easy ask.
Yeah, and part of the wayfinding too, I think we've talked about this in some previous meetings. What are our thoughts on having more green markings on the street when we have bike lanes or sharrows or other places that we're marking as cyclist friendly? And are there areas we want to identify there? Yeah. And then the last thing we talked about that might have some physical costs associated with it would be if we want to try to do the turning pull-off area across from the trail on Gill's Neck, where the I guess where a pedestrian cyclist bridge could be one day, maybe in the
Oh,
future.
that spot where the-
If that little bit of land is city land, do we want to try paving that, painting it green, having something where folks can pull off there if they're trying to, so rather than making the left turn onto the trail against traffic, you have a place where you can just pull off to the right, let traffic pass, and then cross. A relief area, I'm not sure what we would call that.
I wonder if now is the best time to move that forward, given that Gill's Neck Road is a part of the safety grant.
Oh, yeah.
And that might be something that we bring up because we will be a part of that process. So capture that and let's incorporate it in that project versus us pushing it forward on our own, because that would give us some friends in the process.
What is the safety grant?
It's a SS4A federal safety grant that the city applied for probably a couple years ago now and was successful in receiving. I don't know exactly what it encompasses. I know what I've been made aware of, which has some bicycle pedestrian kind of pilot projects, pop-up projects. On Gill's Neck, I had heard that one might be a pedestrian at 2nd Street. I can't speak to what it is physically. And then I think some aspects of where the trail crosses Savannah. I know those three were kind of related to us. My experience with working on safety grants in 2 other areas of the state looked at vehicle traffic as well. And I don't know what the city's grant application looked like. It was frozen federal funds. From what I understand, it is unfreezing. I don't know if it's thawed yet, but I think it's unfreezing.
You asked that at the workshop meeting, and I wasn't sure what kind of response you got.
I think it was that it's unfreezing. It's
I
in the
think I
thawing
got
process.
Yeah, Janelle is leading it, but I think I got it's thawing.
As clear as mud.
I think that there are certain portions of the money that's being released, is how I understood it. What that means, I don't know.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, and we've been assured all along that when it comes together, that we will be a part of that process. So we have every trust that that'll happen. So perhaps that next explanation will be bring more value than that one. I think that's it on the priorities. Do we have any public comment? No.
Oh,
Okay. So that moves it.
We do.
Oh, we do. Never mind.
Nope.
Good evening.
Hi, Bill.
Hi. Thank you for allowing me to make a comment. Mary, you had mentioned about one of the topics to consider going forward is changing of the bollards. I have some of that history from 2020, 2021, when I worked with Don Long to bring that proposal to the council that I can share when you're ready.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Bill. That's super helpful. Thank you, Bill. Okay. Next, we need to talk about meeting dates. So we are the end of the month. We are the fourth Tuesday. And when we get into November and December, that always makes our meetings interesting. So in November, we would be the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And in December, we would be Christmas Eve. There you go. So I personally would like to see us meet in November. I don't know whether it's that Tuesday or whether we should look at other available dates. Julia, I think you,
I'll have to get back to you. I have to check the city schedule.
no.
Oh,
I
sorry.
was going to say, are you going to be around that Tuesday night?
The Tuesday before Thanksgiving?
Right.
I will be if we have our meetings.
Right, but otherwise you would not.
I honestly don't remember if that's a day I requested off.
Okay.
I know I
gotcha.
requested off the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay. So here's my question to the group. Should we look at alternate dates for November? Or do you want to continue with the Tuesday?
I'm fine with Tuesday in November. I think obviously we need to do something for December.
I will be in Pennsylvania that day, but I could call in, so.
On that Tuesday?
it'll be
Okay.
And I'll be here.
You're here. Okay. Khalil, how about, you're okay? Can you call in?
No, I'll be here.
Oh,
No, like I said, I don't think that was one of the days I requested off. I know I requested the Wednesday before. I don't think I requested Tuesday.
okay. December. Do you want the month off as a gift? Or should we find an alternate date in December?
Yeah, that current date, Mary, is the 23rd. That would
Oh, it's
Tuesday.
23rd? I
Yeah.
hustled this up one day.
Close enough, yeah.
Still not a good day.
Still, for those still shopping, you want the month, as much as I'd like to say let's take the month off, that would mean we wouldn't meet until the end of January. I think we have some things we're moving forward. Could we see if we could find an alternate date in December?
Yeah, please.
Would that be okay?
Yeah.
How about,
earlier?
yeah, that's my thought
What?
exactly. Do it a week
The
earlier.
Tuesday, a week
Yeah.
earlier.
A week earlier?
23rd?
16th?
That would be
Week before the
16.
23rd.
What is that, Tom?
16.
16, December 16?
I will check the city schedule. That may work.
Okay.
I don't know. It just depends on what other meetings are scheduled.
Sure.
And I don't have all of them on my calendar.
Cleo, what do you look like on the
Fine
16th?
for me.
There you go.
I
Okay.
mean, we could tentatively set it that, and then in November, we could keep it on or look for another date or skip.
Okay. So we're going to stick with November, and we're going to pencil in right now December 16th. Does that work? Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. If no one has anything else, then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'd make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To see you live and in person someday. We're not sure you really exist. How do we know you're not AI?
Exactly.
November 25th.